Here we are. Hello.
Hi, gorgeous.
Hello. And hello to our beautiful, stunning, talented,
mystery
insanely
guest.
Beautiful. Like you're not meant to call women beautiful anymore. You're meant to say that. Oh, intelligent.
What? I'll be called beautiful any day. When did that happen?
Can I have both?
Everyone's like, you're not meant to just tell little girls they're pretty anymore. You're meant to say they're clever as well. And I'm like, okay, but I just feel like we should just tell them they're really pretty.
And why does it have to be one or the other?
I know. Anyway, beautiful, intelligent, talented, all of that. Kasia, welcome to the show.
We have got an incredible guest today, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to skip the news, skip listener feedback. We don't have time for that when such a gorgeous and smart woman is in the house. Kasia Pilewicz is an actress who has been in many exciting projects. Her two latest films were a short film that she made over COVID during lockdown called Normal. This film has gone on to the Chicago Indie Film Awards, the New York International Women's Festival, and the Los Angeles Liftoff Film Festival. And her latest film, Eminence, just came out on Saturday. She stars opposite Michael Beach in that. You also might know her from America's Next Top Model. She's a model as well, as if being an incredibly gifted actress weren't enough. Kasia Pilewicz, welcome to the Lucy and Annabel show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So excited. I'm a fan of the show. So I'm like, it's a nice moment to be on because I've been listening to you guys for, has it been like 2 years or how long have you?
A year and a bit now. It's been a year and a bit.
A year and a bit, over 50 episodes. How did that happen?
It feels like 2 years.
Is this
feels
55?
Like 20 years.
Ah! Well, that's because you've made a very full impact. What number is this?
I think this is 51.
51?
Yeah, it's 51.
Pretty good.
Has a nice
ring more than halfway to 100. Wait till the 100th.
Exactly.
Can I come back for the 100th episode?
Yeah, we should have a party for the 100th episode.
Wow.
I'm there. COVID will be gone. It'll be great. We'll do it in person.
So we've had some pretty powerful women on our show so far. Thank you for joining us. We've spoken with various women that have had major experiences in their lives in the entertainment industry. That's why Annabel and I began this show, is because we had both had major record deals. And we're really interested in your experience in just as competitive a realm of modeling when you appeared on America's Next Top Model. We are dying to ask you a lot of questions that I hope no one's asked you before. Knowing nosy Annabel, you're going to get...
I can't wait.
You're going to go places you might not have been prepared for. But so I want to ask you, how was it that you came to be on America's Next Top Model? I know you were already an established model in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
So because you're from Illinois originally, right?
Yeah. From just outside Chicago.
Right. So how is it that you got from there to signing with Wilhelmina in New York City and then on to national television?
Well, the overnight success story that isn't overnight,
right?
Sort of
course,
thing.
Yeah.
Of course, because I would be stopped. I was always tall and interesting looking or whatever they say. As I've been told many. Well, people like.
Unique it's a nice thing people say to weird looking girls like us, where it's like, I've always been told I'm a unique beauty, and I'm like, okay, I feel like what you're saying is I'm kind of ugly, but there's something about it that you're interested in.
Yeah,
I've never even been told I'm a beauty.
Well, shut up, as if no one's ever told you you're beautiful.
Please. I mean, to be honest, have been obsessed with the fashion world since I was a little girl, which is good and bad because, body image problems, this, and this. But I liked that because I always saw these gorgeous models who were kind of weird looking. And I think that that's what I loved about New York, is going there. Well, I'm skipping ahead, but like they definitely appreciate a little bit more unconventional beauty, which I personally love. But I mean, I started out about, I mean, maybe it was a little bit, but my first thing, about 16 years old, I got my first agent. So I was scouted, did like one of those model searches, and an agent in New York signed me, and then I was signed to Ford in Chicago. I went to New York when I was 16 over the summer, 2 summers, I think, and eventually moved there as soon as I could.
Yeah.
But it took me a minute. But when I was in New York, like, I mean, this is years, because I didn't get onto Top Model till like 10 years after that. I was like the old contestant on my season. But they did a whole segment how she doesn't look old. Nobody knows how old she is, which is, Lucy knows has been like a hot button for me. But I'm like, I don't care anymore. But I'm also grateful too, because when I was like 18 trying to like work, they're like, you look like you're 12, this doesn't work. So I was a late bloomer in that way. I looked a little bit young. I did a lot of 17 magazine, a lot of the teen Cosmo Girl while that was around. So I did a lot of that stuff, and I was signed to Wilhelmina in New York. I had done V Magazine, was a big thing that went worldwide. And then the Top Model people were gonna hate me, but they asked me to audition, and I didn't have to do like the big open call because they already knew who I was. So it was I wouldn't have auditioned, so I wouldn't have been on the show. So I think I really do believe in things that are meant to be for you, because it was a good door opening thing especially for my acting career and branching out, because that's kind of what made me move to LA ultimately.
Oh wow.
We shot that here, and yeah.
So going back to Chicago, where in Chicago did you grow up?
I grew up in Wheaton, Illinois. It's a South Coast suburb. And then I went to DePaul. I went to school in, so I lived in the city in Lincoln Park.
Hey, listeners in Wheaton.
Yes. And Lincoln Park, Wheaton, everyone. Yeah. If I say Wheaton and someone's from like a surrounding suburb, people all know. My family's still there.
And what did you study at school?
I was a journalism major and an art and studio art and photography minor. I was like, I started a Spanish minor, and then that shit got hard. Spanish. I was like, once the class was completely in the language, I was like, why am I doing this? Like, no, I don't need to do this. But in my journalism classes, I did all the performance classes, or like the on camera, the maxed amount of that. I was really good writing, but clearly was like a hidden closeted performer who wanted to be on camera.
You just wanted to be on camera, right? So you studied
I took all the theater classes I could.
Good.
But you're a very gifted photographer, so you've gone on to use all that.
That was amazing for me because they had a dark room. I actually had my first art show while I was in school. We did a group art show it's since gone, but this great gallery space in Chicago, which again, I didn't appreciate it at the time, but now I'm like, it's not so easy to have a art show. I had 3 pieces in a group art show, a mixed media piece where I used my photography along with some acrylic paint, found objects, things like that, which ironically, like years later, I'm going back to creating some art and
good,
working that kind of passion of mine.
I mean, you're obviously a gifted photographer. Your most important photo shoot that you ever did was for the Lucy and Annabel show, obviously.
That's right.
It's true. I mean, Kasia, you're only as good as the subjects you have. That is the truth.
Kasia took our photos. So thank you for doing that. You're a star. Bless her. Well, I think it's so interesting that you did photography and ended up being a model. That must give you an edge that probably the other girls didn't really have.
True.
I think that when you are a creative person and you've done a bit of study on what goes on the other side of the camera, for me on the other side of the microphone, the other side of the mixing board, you have a bit more control of the situation, of yourself, have a deeper understanding of kind of everything that's going on around you. And I think that must add to your kind of skill as a model. Or am I completely off with that?
No, you're completely right. It's just I don't know if it gives you more control, but it gives you more awareness, understanding.
Yeah.
You're like,
of yourself,
I can,
control of yourself.
you can sort of at least understand the lighting setup or where they're going with it. Now, I mean, nowadays you see the digital images pretty much instantly. You're tethered to the, you know, they have a screen, but sometimes, you know, I mean, years and years ago, like not seeing that instantaneous, like what's happening, what angles am I getting, how is it lit very shadowy or is it bright, you know? So just having a general understanding of that helps. And I also do, sounds like I'm like this, you know, one of those people, but I also do hair and makeup, which also I always say is a very much a gift. I mean, models always talk about like going to the bathroom and like subtly tweaking, but like if you know that, and actresses too, and any performers, I think if you know, like, we know what's best on us.
Yes.
I've almost never left the makeup on me the way
they do.
I'm either looking like a geisha or I'm looking like I'm about to do a drag show, and it's like I'll just do it myself.
Just blend it in the bathroom and like have your little
put on my own mascara.
Which I'm only doing from now on because I swear to God, I'm like my lashes look twice as long when I do it. Why can't
I know.
I don't understand. And I like to think, and I've been told like it's not my, I love it, but it's not my major passion. But people have told me I'm, you know, their favorite makeup artist. And I like to think that's because I've been on both sides and I can understand where I think where I take and I gather the information of what do you like? What is your style? So I can then, you know, do that. Whereas, especially as a model, you're their canvas. They don't really like your input so much. Sometimes they do, but as a general rule, it's sort of like you're there, let them make you look how they want to look. You're the product.
I have hired you many, many times to do my hair and makeup, Kasia, and you are the best. You are an absolute expert at seems like anything you do, really.
Sounds so bad.
You are an absolute expert at makeup, at skincare, at products. I mean, I'm always picking your brain.
So especially skincare, everyone's always asking me about it. I'm like, I think this is where I'm like, I need a skincare deal or something.
I mean,
like
you do,
on, you know, because I've been obsessed. Like I just love products and I love skincare and I love the things that are possible now and the technology we have, and makeup products too have come so long since I've been doing makeup. I mean, I was a makeup artist since I was like 14, 15. In high school, you know, I was doing the girls' makeup for the events and the dances, and I was like, you know, entrepreneur. I was like, this makes me a lot more money than babysitting. So that's where my mind went. I was like, okay, cool.
So you've had this wild ride since getting scouted in Chicago. You went on to New York. You went on to national television. You've gone on to model. Here, you're still modeling constantly along with your acting. I'm interested to know, looking back on those early days in New York, what would you tell your younger self about the modeling experience?
Well, it's a different world now. I'll say that. When I was 16 and they told me they were putting me in the plus size department, I took that. First of all, I didn't understand it because it wasn't a big industry then. Now, size diversity is huge in 2022. And the last few years, I think the general public understands it because of Instagram, because, you know, of the internet, basically. But when I started, it wasn't that known. I took it hard and I was like, oh my God, they're making me a fat model. I'm probably gonna get hate for that. But essentially, I'm like over 5'10" and I was maybe a size 8. And they're like, okay, well, you're in between. So we're going to put you here. And I just didn't quite understand that. So I think I would just tell myself, because there weren't that many other women to look at, like who were doing that. Yeah. So I didn't know what that was. And I always got well, you're pretty, but. So you're pretty, but you're not skinny enough. And that was always the thing that was a little bit heartbreaking. But at the same time, I'm very grateful I got to work at a high level with amazing amazing photographers and people, and there just came a point like eventually where I don't give a fuck anymore. And when I was on Top Model, I was on a high fashion season. Like Andre Leontali, who recently passed, who I just loved, was one of my biggest supporters on there. And I just realized, like, it doesn't matter. They put me on here, the token plus size girl, but it doesn't matter because I have just as much a shot as this girl who's skinnier than me, and who cares? It's like, it's not the point.
Annabel and I talk about this a lot. Annabel, don't we? We talk about things about the body and weight and stuff. So this is interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
I would love to hear what you guys, where you guys talk about that. And I just think it's a relevant, important topic for any woman or anybody.
Yeah, I think that, well, Lucy Walsh has naturally got a perfect body and doesn't exercise, and she puts us all to shame. And she also probably has anyone ever been like, something's wrong with your body? Because you've got a tiny waist, long legs, massive tits, nice arms.
Yeah, me.
What could you possibly say? Just exactly what
let's see. What do I say to myself? I say, my legs are fat.
Oh my God.
My torso's too short.
I have that too.
My arms are flabby. My boobs are saggy. My back is ugly. I have wrinkles in my neck.
Oh, okay.
Really? Let me see. I don't see it. Get out of here.
I have a weird shaped head.
A what shaped head?
I have a weird shaped head. Like so the back of my head, everybody's skull is like, maybe has bumps on it. I have this little like ledge on the back of my skull. And seriously, if I'm with a man and he goes to touch the back of my head, I'll like snake away from him. I'll get out of it because I don't want him to feel it. I know we have these crazy things about our body. That's my point, is that this stuff is nuts. Yeah, I have a ledge.
I never noticed. Okay, so you're normal.
Right.
Gorgeous, but yes.
And my feet, the list goes on and on. But we do this to ourselves. And this is why Annabel and I discuss this. And not only do we discuss it, but we get a lot of feedback from people, from men and women on all things about weight and body love and body punishing ourselves and blah, blah, blah. But
Kasia, did you also get you're too big to be a regular model, but you're too thin to be a plus size model? Because that's something I have heard before from some models who are, what do they call plus size models now? Fit models or is it still plus size? Real, okay. There's like other words for it now.
Real
like
size?
The division, instead of the plus division, it would be like the curve division.
Curve, that's what I mean.
Curve.
Okay, yeah.
But so my problem was I didn't have enough curves. Oh,
okay.
I've been told the most insane things. I've been with some top, agents in different cities before. I had an agent in Miami before where they like you a little bit bigger. She's like, can you go up 2 sizes but tone up? And I said, that is physically impossible for me. Physically impossible. And so I'd be like in a Target ad with padding on because I need to fit the clothes. And I understand that. And that went like,
okay, whoa. So, whoa. Okay. Those two things just blew my mind.
Wait, there's more. But
okay. Jesus Christ. So she says, can you go up 2 sizes, but tone?
Yeah, but be more toned because you're flabby.
What does that even mean? Okay. And second of all, so you're told 1,000 different
trying to understand how, because Lucy, it's hard. I don't understand that, because I am somebody that understands, you had to get really fit for that one thing where you were in the gym, right? You had to like do gym stuff for that movie. You're gonna fucking say no.
I should have.
Lucy's
my God, this bitch.
No,
what is this?
That's the joke. No, that's the joke, is everybody, and you know this, Kasia, I'm always the one that gets teased for never, ever working out. I hate the concept. I don't want to do it. And then I book a movie where I'm in a sports bra the whole time.
But you have abs. I'm like, Lucy, how do you have abs?
Actually,
she's like singing.
And I had to lift weights, and I was working with Jason Sudeikis, and between takes, I was going, Jason, like, am I doing it right? How do I lift a weight? I was like, Jesus, I'm the worst. Bad actor. I should have looked all this up before I went into the gym.
Not do it. She's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to Google it to see what you need to do to make it look like you're doing it. Anyway, this bitch
she has the body that looks like she works out, though. How is that?
I don't know. I eat donuts and fried chicken all the time.
Oh God. Okay, shut up.
I know. I'm sorry.
She can't relate.
Listen,
she can't relate.
Don't be sorry.
She can't relate to the idea of gaining 2 dress sizes while also becoming more toned. I don't actually physically understand how that would be a possible.
Listen, I might look good, and I'm blessed to, just look that way, but I don't feel good, so it's not serving me. Like I don't, how your body starts to hurt from lack of physical activity. I feel that way a lot.
College.
We need to just get Will to chase you around or something.
I know. He goes to the gym every day. He's constantly just like, get up, get out, go on a walk, come to the gym.
Well, the gym is so boring.
See, I don't like the gym, especially now. I won't go to the gym and wear a mask. I will be outside. I have an exercise bike. I have a ballet bar. I just do all my shit. Like, I was like, outdoors though. I try to walk every morning because it's just like Americans are like so gym centric. And I feel like, I don't know, other cultures, other worlds, it's just built into, even living in New York though, actually, you just walk. It's just built into the lifestyle.
And in England.
The average New Yorker walks something like 6 to 8 miles a day.
Wow.
Just not doing anything extra.
Right. You're on a 5th floor walk up, like you get your butt exercise in. You're just if you have to go out of the house a few times, you're good. So you don't have to do that.
I really like walking. I really like walking.
That can be, walking is literally, every older person I know that's good shape, golden, feeling good, looking good, they walk. That's all they do. They don't do any other shit. So I love walking because for me it's like meditation. I clear my thoughts a lot. I get a lot of new thoughts. I never listen to anything when I don't put music or podcast anything in. I just like to be with whatever thoughts come to my mind. And I think the exercise is a nice byproduct of it for me, but really I'm doing it for the mental side of it.
I do that in the mornings. It's the best way to start the morning because I get that meditative thing too.
It's so nice. Okay, so you went to do a Target ad and you weren't curvy enough or fat enough or
this is the
toned
other thing
enough
that
or whatever the fuck it was that was their problem. So they padded you to make you look bigger.
Oh yeah. I mean, every casting I went on, I always had a huge padded bra on. Like I finally had a bag of boob padding and I had hip and butt pads, but I
borrowed it a couple times.
Yes, you did. I remember that. She had to be a little,
I was working on a scene from Virginia Woolf and I had to be a little chunky and I borrowed Kasia's butt.
Yep.
So let's just,
who has a butt?
Really put this into perspective is that we are living in a world where models are told they're not skinny enough when they're 6 foot whatever the fuck and maximum size 8, which when you spread a size 8 over 6 foot, that's a very slim person. So we're living in a world where there are production companies and brands padding girls to make them look fatter while they're also simultaneously being told they're too fat. Like, what the fuck?
Well, then I was told to get a boob job many times. I was like, no. Okay. I always refuse.
If you don't mind me saying, your tits look big to me.
They do? Oh.
Yeah.
They're not, but thank you.
Are you wearing your padded bra right now?
Those are some ample breasts. That's a handful.
I'm on my period.
That's a handful. Okay, great. Yeah. One of the lovely side effects.
Can I say that
period.
here?
Yeah, you can really, you can go into detail about your period if you feel like it.
Annabelle does all the time.
This is the best breast time of the month. No, I'm not chesty. I never have been, especially for my height and for the type of modeling I was doing, never been chesty enough. And so it was padding. It was like a bag. I kid you not, this I've never talked about. I would buy like a double D or something cup, which I mean, I'm at my biggest a B, like a small B. Like honestly, it's like an A. It's like an A to B now. But like I would buy this double D. There was like a lining, because these are like some full coverage nude things you could fit under the clothes. This like lining cup, so I could put 2 to 3 cutlets inside. So I created,
so for those of you that
a
don't
whole
know,
boob.
cutlets is these silicone sort of things that you can stuff in your bra that make your tits look bigger.
Yeah, and they look real, maybe if you put one in and you have just like your real boob. But like for me, it was creating a whole thing. You go to the garment district in New York, you get all these padding. That was a place you could get the hip pads. Like you couldn't find that anywhere. But like the modeling agencies tell you where to go and get them. And then the butt thing was like underwear with like butt pads, which I know before maybe butt, what do people do? The butt filler or whatever.
They put like
surgery is.
Yeah, they put something in there.
So years ago they had these, I don't know if they still make them, but like just a little butt lift, which I didn't need. I have a butt, but like to fit the clothes, that was the purpose of having the padding. So
that is so wild.
Wow.
Yeah, it sounds horrible, but I threw that stuff away because I mean, it comes with a experience and age where you're like, okay, take me as I am or not. Like I stopped wearing padded bras in my own life as a maybe it was a little bit of a rebellion to this, but like, I mean, you go on a date, you're like, if this is coming off, this is too much. They're going to be like, whatever. So that was years ago. I stopped wearing it in my personal life.
There's
and
a
I was
lot
just
of,
like,
a lot of hiding, isn't there?
Yeah, it felt phony to me. And I was like, it's one thing to wear a bra that's just going to look good. But like when you're putting in so much extra and padding, it's like hiding, feeling like you're not good enough. And I'm like, what is wrong with having lower, like kind of curvier hips and a smaller top? Like, is that bad? Do I have to hide that? No. Eventually, it took a long time.
I find really interesting is sort of like, why can't you be a curvy girl with small tits? I don't really, it's kind of, that to me is strange.
There's companies that tailor bras to smaller chested women, and I have seen, and I know Victoria's Secret is using a variety of model sizes now, so I've seen that they have on these small bra sites curvier, bigger women, but who still are not big on top. So I think it's changed, or it is changing. I hope it's not a temporary like a temporary little what's that called, like novelty of a thing. I hope their change in diversity of all types is actually here to stay, because the thing is, the push for diversity is only as good as like when it becomes really a part of the fabric. Otherwise it's a gimmick. It's another gimmick. Oh, okay, we talk about everybody.
That we talked about that before. It's definitely, saying it is one thing, but it's like implementing it and solidifying it into the system is how we break these kind of systemic what's the word I'm looking for? Not norms,
ideals.
These things that are just kind of, girls who are curvy have big breasts and big bums, of course. Girls who are whatever it is, tall girls should be skinny and have flat chests and no ass. It's like, okay, well, no, that's exactly. And also, if that's how everyone looked, you wouldn't be scouting people from obscurity from the mall and wherever. It wouldn't be 1 in a million girls. It would be every girl that you looked at everywhere on the street would be representing this thing that you're selling us. But I don't know, it's such a strange thing. Do you think that it is novelty, any of this stuff? Have you seen any changes that you've been excited about as far as modeling, fashion, and advertising of women's bodies that you've been excited about that then has disappeared?
I think, as far as it seems right now, because our society is starved to see, oh, okay, there's diversity in beauty, I think, and I hope it's here to stay. And as far as it looks now, there is way more of an openness to the models representing a whole different variety. I mean, everything from plus size to even, there's a lot of trans models who are very successful, and I'm hoping that's not a trend. And it's also in, film and TV, they're using a variety. There's still a little bit of like, you don't see anyone over like a really thin size being the lead love interest in a movie. We still have yet to see that be a norm and regular thing. So hopefully we get to the point. I think the point where there's really change is the point where it's not pointed out, because as soon as you're still pointing out, well, they put a curvy girl in that role or in that ad, it's still a thing. When it's not noticed or pointed out and it just is when there's change. So we're getting there, but I don't know that it's quite the push, because I think it takes that push for people to, the same with like using people of color and different things. It's like when you stop pointing out that there's a black lead when it just is this beautiful lead or whatever, okay, well then there's a change. But like until that point, it's still like we
tokenism.
And it's gotten a lot better as far as like size diversity in fashion, especially. I always, and this is what I loved about New York, I always think the fashion world in New York is more willing to take on these weird looking people, or even on America's Next Top Model. Like I always said I was very lucky, and I'm very grateful, because I would not have gotten, especially in like a 3-4 month period of filming, to work with all these icons in fashion, as even being signed to Wilhelmina in New York and working at a pretty high level. I still would not have gotten that same experience. I've gotten to walk Fashion Week twice, but like that was over, a few years, whereas other girls, you have a shot at like, a number of shows every season. So it was limited opportunities for me. I had a really great agent at Wilhelmina who was like, he was, and this is why I loved him. He was this mindset that like, I don't care that they're not asking for a plus size girl. I think you're interesting and unique, so I'm going to submit you for this. And he would tell me that kind of stuff. And that's the kind of visionaries it takes to create change.
Yes.
But this is like 15 years ago. So that's when it was still unusual. Now there's whole agencies that are created on that construct of, we have a spectrum of sizes. We're not putting them into categories. I forget what they call. Well, I don't know. There's like a health movement, which I think that is the most important part of it, is the health aspect, because so many girls have come out over the years with eating disorders that have tried to conform to the thin model standard, and actresses too. And I mean, that's not limited to that. That's like anybody in the world. But when you're put on these crazy standards and you have to do it for your job, it becomes a whole other level of stress and like trying to fit this narrow mold. So
it just sounds so stressful to me. That just feels so stressful. It puts you, I'm sure, in this kind of life or death mindset all the time, because obviously our work is, bear with me, let's go back to our sort of basic instincts of kind of survival. We need to work. That's our going out and getting food, that's why we work, to have money to pay for the things that we need to survive. So when your work is constantly being put in this place where it's like, if I don't look a certain way or have a certain measurement, the stress that must cause, I can't even imagine. And obviously I'm an ex Top Model fan, so they send you into this house, right? They get you there, you do your auditions, blah, 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 you all meet each other. it's chaos, and then they send you into this house, which is meant to be like a model house, because when you're a model, right, when you were younger, 16, you went off to New York, presumably you lived with probably like 6 girls in a 1-bedroom apartment or something. You know, that's what these model houses, everyone I know that's a model has had that kind of journey. And you know, it's in one air mattress and 3 of you are on it, and you know, it's that kind of thing. So then you go on to America's Next Top Model, maybe people are thinking, oh, this is what it's like to be a model, so glamorous, they're in this nice house. And it's like, no, these bitches literally 24 hours ago were sleeping on an air mattress with like 3 other people. So that is not the case. So can you tell us a bit more about that element of the Next Top Model experience, where obviously you've told us about the body stuff, which is crazy, and the fact that you got to work with these just unbelievably renowned, talented artists that you admire massively, that you wouldn't have been able to work with in any other context. Then what's the nitty gritty of the experience? Like, how did your life change from being a kind of everyday model in New York to then going into this house, into this TV show? Are there therapists on call? Are there medics there all the time? Do we have bitches trying to like, you know, overdose in the bathroom? Like, what is happening?
The therapists, even to get on the show, I think they call it about like 30 to 40 girls to LA for like a 2-week, one or 2 week period to narrow it down to the final cast, which was 16 of us. Before you get in the house, you're in a hotel, there are therapists, and they screen your mental health very thoroughly.
They didn't do that on Rock the Cradle because they
didn't. Crazy. Oh God,
yeah, because they knew you were all fucking crazy already. No,
but here's my theory: is I don't think it was to clear the non-crazy. I think they pick and choose a mix of.
Oh, people. Okay. Like, how mentally ill is this person? Okay, enough that they're not going to kill themselves, but also enough that they're going to make this show fireworks.
They're like, they're all dramatic.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone, and I think during the pandemic, we realized mental health, and this is what my short normal is about.
We're going to talk about it in a minute.
It doesn't mean you're crazy. Everybody realized, I think, how important thinking about mental health is. But I mean, there were definitely heavily medicated girls, and I think and you know, then you have the dramatic one, you know, is going to create problems, and probably she's doing that for attention. And there was that girl. The high stress situation they put you in would make anybody break. And I don't know if the same on, you know, I've heard that's on every reality show, because you're in such a bubble.
Yeah.
It's such a stressful thing. Like, the shoot days sometimes would be, I don't know, 18, 20, maybe that's an exaggeration, 18 hours, like some of the long days. And then the biggest thing is, like, at the time they took away, we had to get off all social media. I had to break all my agent contracts. I had to leave all my jobs. I had to leave my acting class. You had to leave everything. You tell your family you won't hear from me. Like, you didn't have a cell phone. So that was the biggest, I think, also kind of thing that makes you go a little crazy. You don't have your friend to call or your family to like confide in. You can't, because they want to capture all that.
Yeah, they want you to be a little
camera.
Nuts.
Yeah. It was the same. Yeah, it was the same. We went to Vegas. We'd go on these shooting trips with the whole cast, no phones, and you had bodyguards with you to make sure that you weren't speaking to the other cast members off camera.
Yeah, they put us on ice. That's what they called it. Yeah. So we had ice a lot. Yeah, we had handlers that was their whole job, is like, when they were not rolling, like if we were traveling a section where they weren't rolling, we were on ice.
Isolated.
You weren't allowed to talk to people because they wanted to capture everything on camera. And you know, of course we get in trouble sometimes, but for the most part, they're always taping, and they're in the house. There's cameras everywhere, which you forget eventually because you're mic'd and you're like, shit, I'm peeing, I'm in the bathroom.
Right.
And they got that. Let's just hope they're not complete dickheads and use that. Which, I mean, there are certain boundaries, but they definitely put you in like a hamster house, you know, a little habitat. I think there was like 4 of us in a bedroom, bunk beds, you know, so they're trying to recreate that model house vibe, but it's we were in this beautiful like penthouse in downtown LA, which none of us could have afforded at the time, of course, or still, but like, you know, yeah, like gorgeous view and whatever, but ceiling, you know, floor to ceiling windows, but the environment is designed to create drama. It is. And that's, I mean, I don't think that's a secret, but the thing is, like, yeah, you realize who has mental health issues. You realize who has an eating disorder. You realize, like, because you're living with somebody. They always say that's when you get to know somebody, is when you live with them. So there was the gambit of all that in my season. And then unfortunately, they didn't address it, but they want it to thrive, I think, because, you know, these are issues that make good television. So as much as there's the beauty in the photo shoots, and I was very lucky that my season was these amazing photographers, there is the push for the drama and all that. And I was like kind of known for not feeding into that, and they painted me.
I was gonna say, which girl were you?
The experienced one. They painted me very much kind of who I was, because I went in and we're interviewed all the time. You know, you have the confessional, which everybody knows of, like anytime you need to get like, and that's when they green screen you in the back with different backgrounds and you're talking to camera. So we'd go in there by ourselves. We'd go in there in 2s and 3s, you know, to talk about the other people. There were like little segments where we're all talking about the bitch of the house. And then
who was the bitch of the house?
Alexandria.
And was she
Alexandria
edited as the bitch of the house as well?
Alexandra? Oh yeah, she was well known to be the bitch of the thing. And then they did came back. They did like an all-stars thing, and some people were invited to come in. Of course they bring her, because
they're gonna bring the spicy bitch back.
She has some good pictures, but as far as like, you know, who would really be like a fashion model, you kind of know like why this person is there.
Okay, so Tyra Banks, now in this economy that we live in now, where it is about mental health, it is about physical wellness, it's about you know, we care about people's pronouns, and we don't fat shame people, and we don't, you know, we're in a very precious time, which for me is a little too precious, but in a way, you know, I think it's good, because we've gone very far one way. And, you know, I see in my little niece, 12 years old, the body positivity thing is great. They are not judging girls. They are not being mean to girls because of their size, their weight, if you got big, the whole thing. So it worked. We are in the hell zone, I think, in our generation, where we've had to live in the kind of trenches of the movement, and now the younger ones are hopefully going to benefit from our misfortune. But you're in the house, and Tyra Banks did and said some absolutely outrageous things, and she has since gotten in such hot water about this. There's so many clips, so many things have come up. Were you ever on the other end of that, or did you ever witness something where you were just like, fuck me? And you don't have to go into it if you don't want. I'm just you don't have to talk about it if you don't want. I'm just so interested, because it's obviously what we see now is more about that stuff than we see about the show itself. It's kind of like, fuck, we all watched this thing that was like crazy. In today's economy, it just wouldn't fly.
Yeah, you can't say it. I'm like, remind me, what have you seen? I sort of, it's a long time ago, I have to be honest. Like, I try to remember. But yeah, absolutely. I will say she was always a big proponent of like diversity in fashion, like look wise. She'd be like, this girl is weird, but I could see it. And like, she always tried to have, maybe not every season, but a bigger girl. And it's like, well, again, it's bringing that token thing until it becomes more mainstream. So she could be credited with giving a little push to the movement, right?
Because that was her whole thing. She's like, I looked weird. I was bug-eyed. I had a giant forehead. My tits were huge.
5 head. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the 5 head.
The 5 head.
So,
5 head.
yeah. So she, definitely from that perspective, I would say she was a big game changer, I think, for anyone that was a bit different. It's more so the like cutting when she would like kick people off or like give people bollockings and stuff, and you're sitting there watching at home just like, oh my god, I mean to swallow me. Was there any of that on your season where you saw a girl get a bollocking where you're just like, I want to die right now watching this is too much for me?
There was a thing I forgot about. I was interviewed last year, so it's like 10-year anniversary, and they were asking me, and I forgot there was this big fight on one of the shoots we had with Nigel Barker, who's been on the show for the whole time pretty much. Yeah. And this whole set, and I forgot what it was about, but like the 2 girls that ended up in the top 3 had a big rivalry. And I'm like, I guess I was just in my zone worrying about my performance, because he's talking about it. He's like, that was the big fight of your season. And I could not for the life of me remember it.
Oh my God.
Of course, people are commenting, amazing. What an airhead, what this, but I was like, honestly, like, I'm glad that 10 years later, this has not been my life, because I'm like, wait, what happened?
But that's the kind of person that you are, Kasia. You don't engage with drama around you, and it's infuriating to
it is. Well, the
who
thing
want
is,
you to
they wanted us to, because they would probe us in these interviews with the producers, the sit down interviews where they're questioning you. They're not going to use their part, but they're going to use your sound bites. Yeah. They always tried to get me to talk about the shit, and I always, maybe it's my journalism background, I always fucking spun
it. Is
like
it is.
And not to be so PC, because I was also like, okay, they say I'm real, fiercely real, and no bullshit, because that doesn't mean I want to be phony or fake. It just means that like, what is more important to me is getting to the next episode so I can, work with this person, versus like getting into this drama with these girls. I was always also older than them though. So it was different, because there were girls.
You were on your 19, grind.
They were from the middle of nowhere. They didn't know the industry at all. And it was like, so I was this painted as the professional, but like when I thought about that, I was like, I don't remember. I really didn't.
That's funny.
And that's the honest truth, is I didn't, but they pushed for that very much so. And people always ask me about Tyra, and I love her. I think she's a bitch in the best way, because she's also in her own land. Like, she did not talk to us off camera. There were like Miss J, who I love, did. Mr. J in his own land. He wrote a book, which I haven't read. I don't know what he talks about in there, but like, Tyra is a businesswoman, and I respect that.
And you're a businesswoman.
And I'm a businesswoman. And she was not sitting and being our friend, but I always said she doesn't have time for that. And I get that. She's running a show, so she's going to get what she needs on camera. And a lot of those moments are real, of course, because she's also lived the business of it pre this show, which is what made her create it. And honestly, bring it to mainstream America, because most people in the world, because every country has their version now, but people didn't know about the fashion world in the same way. And the insanity. I mean, there's so much insanity, but it's just part of the part of the world. But yeah, I'll say I don't know that anything other than that one sticks out to me like a big.
So you were there, you were just focused on your shit. You were not engaging with the drama. You were not engaging with any of that. Would you say you seem like you're quite unscathed and not traumatized by your America's Next Top Model experience? Would you say that you're rare? Would you say that most of the girls are slightly kind of left maybe a little bit deer in the headlights after the experience?
I mean, and this is me 10 years plus years later.
Yeah. You've had some time
I 100% had PTSD. I've never said
you
that.
did.
I've never said that publicly, but 100%. So even though I was I don't know if level-headed is the right word, but like on my, focused on the prize, right? The eye on the prize, and it, not even necessarily winning, but like, which was a great IMG contract and a Italian Vogue prize, which would have been amazing. And this was pre them having plus size models on the thing, so it would have been a big thing. But they definitely, like, I was a finalist, so I had a shot.
Yeah.
And then I know I met the head of IMG because he came on one of the last episodes I was on. And he told me I look like Stevie Nicks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was like, yes, I love it. Love that. But I met the people, the Italian Vogue editor who has since passed, was great. Like, so I met the people who could have changed my career. And then I heard from my friends who were in the production, on the production side later on, after I was kicked off, that there was a deal, and not even like winning the show, but there was something, they never told me details, but there was some kind of contract deal that got messed up for me because production would not allow it, but something big. So again, I was angry, after, because they don't let you work for 6 months after, because you shoot the show, they have to edit, and then it doesn't air. So I had to go get some, ironically was working at a mental health center after, just like in the office, because I couldn't do any acting or modeling work for like 6 months, and I hadn't won. It was traumatizing.
That's part of your contract.
It's part of your contract. Yeah, you can't get an agent until after all your episodes air. You can't go back to your agent, and of course they were all mad at me. So it was hard. That part was hard after, because you're like, what do I do with myself? I've been working, then I had this huge experience, and now I'm back to like, feels like square zero, where you don't know what to do with yourself. So I had some PTSD, absolutely. And the way they boot you off is pretty brutal, because they sort of find your thing, and then for me, it was like the size thing. And I've talked about this before after the show. It's like, I said it, and they don't air it all because they're like, they don't want people to think you're too smart, and but I was like, all of a sudden we got to Morocco to the finals. I got to go abroad, which was an incredible trip. And then the first go-see casting we have, they didn't have anything that fit me. I'm like, oh, this has never been a problem before. You guys have all my measurements, but you ironically couldn't, give me. So they started chipping away at my confidence with the size thing. And I was like, God. I'm not giving into this. Because I knew the game, I knew what it was they were doing. But again, this many years later, sure, I could sit here and be like, it's totally cool. I remember things like that because that was hurtful. And they have a camera invasively in your dressing room while you are wearing something that doesn't fit you. I mean, who would feel good in that moment?
No one feels good. Yeah. No one feels good.
Yeah. Wow. So that was like all of a sudden when they wanted to sabotage my last shoot to kick me off. So
you feel that they had already decided that you were going.
And it wasn't just me. Every week before me, I saw that. They were like, okay, this is this person's like weak confidence spot, so we're gonna kind of attack that. If they had told a girl that her expressions weren't whatever, they only would show her dead-eyed expression, and then you have a shitty picture. Like, they never show the whole shoot where you see, they pick one shot and they spin it how you want it. And I mean, I don't think that's a secret. I'm probably gonna get my
was when that happened and a girl's time was up and she had the black spot pinned on her back or whatever it is, did everyone know? Was it like, fuck, like it's happened, the sights are on her? And did the energy towards that girl change, or was everyone nice and supportive, or did you pretend it wasn't happening, or was it sort of like, shit, it's the weak one, pack animals get away?
Yeah, everybody shies away from it.
It's a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of everything, because you know that like by her going home, you're gonna make it. So you at the same time, and I was very, other than the one bitch girl, I was pretty close with everybody and had a good relationship. But even I remember the episode before going to Morocco, I'm like, I want to go abroad. And we knew who was going home, and it was like the sweet girl from Texas who, you know, had never been outside her small town, and then they started sort of chipping away at that's I can't remember exactly, but like her naivete basically became the thing, and she didn't know enough, and this, and at the same time, as much as you want to support and that's your friend, it's the competition at the end of the day, so you do have to put yourself first. Because but the way it was happening, yeah, we pretty much always knew by the time it was that deciding photo shoot or video shoot, you could tell who they were sort of painting to have a problem. And sometimes it was like a psych out, like the time that the one girl tried to direct the shoot and take over, and we thought she was going to go home. Then during the judging, she got like a warning and didn't get sent home. But usually you could tell.
Damn.
Yeah.
It's fascinating just hearing you say this and relating it to being on the music reality show with Annabel. Was supposed to be on it, and she said no at the last minute, and I came on after her without auditioning. So we missed each other, but we both shared that experience. And just hearing what you're saying about how it worked and how they boot you off and everything, and the PTSD that comes after it is amazing. And they make up stories about you as you're leaving, and they design it how they're gonna do it. But coming out of that, and now 10 years have passed, I'm just interested what you would say to girls starting out in the modeling, girls maybe in that situation. We have many listeners that reach out to us going, how do I get started as an actress? How do I get started as a musician? I want a record deal. What do I do? And so what would you say to our listeners?
Don't listen to any one person's opinion. I would say number one, because I have been told like a gamut of different things. Like, and it comes, you know, okay, this person get a boob job. This person, you know, your arms are too skinny for the rest of your body. Like, you hear the most horrific things. Fix your teeth. I'm like, I like my teeth. Like, you know, shit like that. Don't listen to anybody who's telling you to, first of all, change sometimes. And we know this back from like Cindy Crawford with the mole. Sometimes the thing that people fixate and tell you to change is what is going to end up being what makes you stand out. People with, you know, a gap tooth or freckles then are like celebrated, or you know, all the different, I forget what that Winnie Harlow, you know, that model who's gorgeous, and she was started on Top Model and then just blew up because of her skin condition makes her unique. But it's like, that's after a life of heartbreak of being told that you're
but there's something wrong with you. Yeah.
There's something wrong with you. Yeah. So I would say, I mean, be true to yourself. The thing is, it's still a very competitive, specific niche industry. And now with the internet, like a lot of people are being discovered on Instagram and things like that. But the way to go about it is go to a reputable agency. They used to have open calls. I'm sure with COVID they don't, but they always asked for snapshots, clean, you know, simple photos with no makeup and natural light and like raw. And I think that's the thing, especially when you're a model in New York, is that raw beauty. Like, they don't want you to go to your castings with makeup on, with dressed up. They want you to be a blank slate, wear all black, or, you know, jeans and a tank top, and be simple and be that clean slate so they can see what they can do on you. And I know it's a little bit different with the Instagram culture, which is a little bit of what I have a problem with, is the way people represent themselves and like over filter. And
we talk about like, that.
We're all guilty. You talk about that. This is part of what I want to get into, is like, we are all guilty of that, because now we're so capable of manipulating our image online. But the thing is, like, it's gone so far that like people use apps and filters that literally change your features, and I feel like then everybody is starting to look the same, and it's like that takes away from your individual beauty. And the thing is, like, how boring. you know, that everybody looks the
it's
same.
that Instagram face. It's the fox eyes and the overfilled lips and the tiny nose and the whole thing, and it's the eyebrows that have been freaking pinned up here, and like everyone looks the same. I'm just kind of thinking, when are we going to get tired of this? Because it's so boring.
Yeah,
it's so boring. And if you're looking at even celebrating people from different countries and different ethnicities, there's a reason, like this culture has this feature predominantly versus this, and why is everybody all of a sudden have these eyes, and you know, like not everybody looks like that, and they don't have to. But as soon as we start like all celebrating that as like the one way to look, it's like it takes away from any kind of beauty of individuality. So I'm hoping that goes away, and I try not to post things that are manipulated like that. And of course you all want to put your best face forward, and it's a curated view of your life that's like this much.
It's the highlight reel. It's the highlight reel. It's the best bits.
Yeah.
You know?
But I love, and I know a lot of people love when they see somebody like someone really who has a huge following post something real and maybe not so pretty about their life. People are like, oh my God, thank you, because I've felt like this before. And it's a hard thing to do. That's a brave thing. And I'm not saying you have to post a picture of you looking ugly, but like be real, you know. And it's hard. Like I'm
really hard.
I'm hoping I'll be brave enough to do some of that, but I think it's the fear. I want to get into the modeling industry. Okay, every picture of me online has to look perfect, and it's like that's not real, because models have outtakes and bad pictures too. But like it used to be your portfolio. Like I'd walk around with a book to the castings, and that book is very curated and it has your best things in a book, but you didn't feel like everywhere with a phone you have to capture your best angle. It's like, oh my God, it's exhausting.
So to summarize, would you say that your advice is embrace the things about you that are different and maybe considered, you know, not so hot by some people? Maybe use those things as your angle, as your thing, as your niche, as your strength. Make your weakness inverted commas your strength.
Definitely. And especially in the fashion world that is a little more open to those unique qualities, because I think Hollywood is still more mainstream than like high fashion. They will put a weird, I mean, I hate to even say a weird looking person on a magazine cover or in a spread in Vogue or W or something, and it's incredible, and it's thought provoking, and it's artistic. It's a little bit more high art in that way. So I think the filters and the Instagram culture doesn't necessarily correlate with high fashion. If that's what you're going for, submit to like the reputable agencies who will see something in you that maybe not everybody else will see.
It was so interesting earlier in the chat. You said that you don't see a girl that's kind of bigger or curvier or a little bit different or quirky being kind of the love interest or the leading person in a film. I guess this is for both of you. I had never even thought about that before. Really? How fucking dumb am I? I literally have never even thought about that. I'm just so used to seeing what I see. Also, I'm so shit at all this stuff. I'm like, I've got no when it comes to movies, I'll watch anything. I'm not one of these people that's like discerning. Like I know the difference between a movie and a film, if that makes sense. Do you get what I mean by that? But I don't think one is better than the other necessarily. I'm not like a high art movie person. I don't find like French fucking I'm just like, I no.
You're probably like most people.
No, I'm just so like Joe Schmo when it comes to movies. So it never even occurred to me that isn't something that we see. Yeah. How dumb is that?
In acting, there are different body types, right, Kasia? There is the leading lady body type, and if you don't fit that mold, which is slim, good looking, then you're a character actor. And there's pretty much just the two groups. You're either the leading lady or the best friend. And as the same in modeling, they are doing a lot to stretch that out and kind of, I've seen a couple movies. Josh Gad is one of my favorite actors. I love him.
I love him.
And he's starring as the romantic lead, which you look at it and you go, whoa, that looks different. But I'm happy. Good for him.
What's he in?
He's in this movie with Isla Fisher.
I love that.
Yeah.
But is that, so just to play devil's advocate here, he's a man, so
right, yeah, he is a man.
Yeah, where's the woman
right
equivalent? Isla Fisher is
gorgeous. I can't think of some, and this happens with Jonah Hill when he was a bit overweight, which now he's completely changed the way he looks. But there's these different men, Jack Black, he's playing the romantic lead, but Kate Winslet is starring opposite him, so it's like balanced or whatever in The Holiday. But yeah, you're right, Annabelle. I can't think off the top of my head one recently where there's been a curvier romantic lead female.
Just a female that's not traditionally attractive,
right?
Somebody that's maybe face is a bit different or something.
Right.
No, I mean, I think of who I love and is brilliant, Melissa McCarthy, but she has proven herself to be brilliantly talented, hilarious, to then get the leads in movies. She didn't start off that way.
She's bankable. They know they're going to make money with her. So I think that's a different thing. It's like, where is the risk with the, whatever the next rom-com is, where the girl or the woman looks a bit,
it's hard. It's also ethnicities. One of my friends, his name is Chin Han. He told me he's a really successful working actor. He's been in a ton of stuff. He was played opposite Kate Winslet in Contagion, but he is really frustrated because Asian men are not getting the romantic leads. They're just not accepted as the romantic lead. And Crazy Rich Asians kind of took that forward, but you don't see that as the norm. He's frustrated because all he gets to play is the scientist, the nerd, the best friend.
How stereotypical are those?
They are. And it the same with African-American men, with Black men. They struggle with the same thing. They have to dumb themselves down, because if they come at it with that danger, whoa,
too much.
If they whiten themselves up, sorry to say it that way, but this goes on. It exists in acting, just as in any industry, where we are fighting to stretch out of these little boxes that everybody's been in. And
the money makers are scared. That's a known thing. The money, the decision makers, the people with the money, they're scared of something new because it hasn't been tested to make money. Like, that's ultimately where it comes down to. Yet audiences and the people are starved to see something different. So who's the one who's going to make the change?
I just want to say on the record that I think Asian dudes are really hot. So I would love to see an Asian dude romantic lead. So any filmmakers out there listening, please
cast Chin Han as your romantic lead.
He's okay, sexy. Send me his headshot.
So Daddy Chen, I want to see him.
I know. So Kasia, you and I met in an acting class, and I've seen much of your acting. I've gotten to see you on stage so many times. I've gotten to act with you on stage. We've had very good times. You know what I'm thinking. When you played this one character in this Shakespeare play, you were so outrageously funny. And I had to stand there on that damn stage while you did the most insane dancing act thing. And I had to be completely straight-faced and not break character the whole time. It was excruciating. But
you did it. So you're brilliant. You did it. Thank you.
I want to talk to you about this film that you made during the pandemic, during lockdown. You created and starred in this film called Normal, and it is about mental health. And I just wanted to know what that experience was like, creating a short film and filming it during lockdown when everything is shut and you're wearing masks.
Yeah, 2020, I think we shot in July. So that was right in the midst of like, nobody was leaving their house, all that. I think all of us, creatives, actors, LA was completely shut down. We didn't know what to do with ourselves because the business completely shut down. And I have a hard time when I can't be creative. So what was initially one project that a mutual friend of ours and I had written for the ABC showcase, it was like a finalist, and then we didn't get in. We're like, we want to shoot this piece anyway, but we couldn't do it here. So we're like, okay, we're going to go on this road trip. So I took a 3-month road trip across the country. That project didn't really work in that setting. So we got to Chicago, where my family is. So we stayed a week with my sister. And this project, this film Normal, just came out, where we're like, we sat down one morning, we're like, we just want to shoot something. We have to create. Basically, I think if you're an artist, you feel that innate need to create. So everything that was happening just fed in, and honestly, like it came easy, which was beautiful. We wrote the script in one day and figured everything out, location scouted the next day, and we shot the next day. So it was a very short timeline. We did not have a crew. We shot on our iPhones. We had anamorphic lenses, which make it look very cinematic, and Filmic Pro, which is the best app to make it look like a movie. And there's whole festivals that are around the iPhone shooting on there. But it was a risk creatively because it could have failed miserably. But the thing is, I think our story and relatability. You shot a
movie on an iPhone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we didn't have a DP, we didn't have a sound. We had lavs that connected to the phone, and we had some equipment because we had traveled with the intention of shooting this other project. And but like my sister let us shoot in her place, so we redesigned the thing and used her car. And then my niece plays my daughter in the movie. I was like, you can't get an actor right now, so no. Family member who you're quarantined with. I was like, okay, she was 3 at the time. I was like, this is perfect. So we're gonna write the story about a young single mom struggling right now. And then at this time, this was still very early in the pandemic, there was a lot of talk about the mental health issues, and there still is. But in the beginning, I mean, so sadly, we lost a lot of people who couldn't manage. Like, people were committing suicide because this pandemic turned everybody worldwide, our lives around. So we tried to create a story of relatability. I didn't want her to be crazy. My character I played, Sarah, but at the same time, she's struggling with this issue of being a single mom who's young and already is struggling in life. And then the pandemic hits, and then her insurance lapses because of her lack of a job. So then she couldn't, so all these obstacles in her way of, not only was her life already difficult as a young single mom with a shithead of a ex, the father of her child, but then the pandemic hits, and what do you do? We really tried to create this claustrophobic sort of environment of a set in their house, where her apartment with her and her daughter, to mimic then the claustrophobia going on in her head, having a mental, she's bipolar. So then without her medication, she's trapped in her head. But then the two ends of the spectrum on bipolar is the manic and the depressive. So where do you go in the course of a day from 0 to 100? So playing within that realm gave me a lot to play with. And then the director, Alethea D'Angelo, I'm not a mom, but she's a mom, so she brought like kind of being a single mom and that part to the table. And my niece was brilliant because working with a kid is so hard, and I had never done it, but you have to improvise a lot, and I have to get in the pieces of the story that needed to be there. But she's 3, she's not memorizing lines, so we're just working with it to get it. So it was this amazing acting challenge. And then we shot a little bit more than you think you need, and we were aiming for a 3-minute short. It's a 14-minute short. So it ended up that I think just like synergistically, magically, the universe here's my like witchy spiritual side coming out. The universe worked in our favor. Like we shot through the day and then through the night, of course, to steal shots of the city in Chicago. We were in Chicago and the gorgeous city, and the sort of, there ended up being these parallels of I had this mask at the time, it said smile, and these things of the Joker and the Chicago set, and these like kind of alternate like mental health things of her like losing her mind in this world. And then we left a lot of things ambiguous, like the ending of like, does she go back for her kid, does she not, like what's happening, and audiences have really responded. My favorite thing is that people who have seen it have said they can relate to Sarah in a way, because that's what I wanted. I didn't want to paint this picture of a crazy person. I wanted it to be like, this can be your sister, your neighbor, your friend, who you don't know is struggling with these things, but now we're seeing what's in her head because she's locked down, as we all were during COVID, you know, the beginning of COVID, where we didn't know what was happening. And what do you do with yourself? So anyway, I'm rambling, but that sort of was the goal with that.
No, it's fascinating. I love listening to and watching you talk. You kind of went into a different zone there, and it's it's nice, it's refreshing to hear somebody talk about their creativity in a way that I don't really even have the words to describe where you just were, but I know
what you mean,
and it was inspiring.
Where'd I go?
I don't know,
you're just passionate. You're passionate about what you're saying.
Passionate, and I responded to that, and it lulled me into just like,
I know, I was looking at Annabelle's face. She's like,
oh, that's good. I know. It's an uncomfortable place for me, because I feel like the more, and I have a couple more projects in the works, but the more I am using my own voice as a filmmaker to create, I directed one short in December, and I'm working on my next project, but that's a scary place, because as an actor doing other people's projects, you're using their words, you're telling their story. But now what I'm really trying to do is merge that with my own voice. There's a picture in my room that has been inspiring me, and I look at every day. It says, she spoke and her voice changed the world. And I think that is so important for everybody, all women though, especially who are underrepresented as directors and as filmmakers and creatives, to use their voice, because who's telling our story? A man who hasn't experienced being in a
usually
mind?
It is.
So that is my goal, which is so like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, I'm not going to tell a man's story. I've never been a man. I don't know what that's like. You know, maybe I can if I hear something from somebody else, but I'm trying to, and it's hard for me. So maybe that's why I go in a different zone, but I'm trying.
No, it's not. It doesn't look hard. It looks like that's the zone you're meant to be in. And I don't know you that well. I've spent a very small amount of time with you and then sat here listening to you talk about other things. But the zone that you were just in seems like the zone that you should probably be in. As a stranger, take it or leave it.
Thank you. No, that means a lot. That's really, thank you.
Yeah.
Because it's a confidence struggle that I'm still not feeling like I'm quite comfortable with. But at the same time, I feel pushed and compelled to be going there.
Yeah.
So that film has gone on to festivals, and I want to thank you for one of the most challenging things I've ever done in my career, which was compose the original score for that short film. Thank you for that experience, because God damn it, that was hard.
No, thank you for saving our butts within like a week we gave you?
Yeah, it was like a week deadline.
Insane, because we were going for the Cannes deadline,
right?
So to submit for the Cannes Film Festival, but yet we honestly we thought we weren't going to put music in it, and there was just this really intense sound effects that were going, but it needed music. So at the final hour, I was like, Lucy, my multi-talented friend, brilliant classical musician, could you create something a la what was it, a little,
it was Requiem for a Dream.
Thank you. Requiem for a Dream inspiration.
Yeah. So it was amazing. It was, I watched it.
Tell us about your process.
Oh, well, I watched it like a bajillion times. I had to watch it over and over and over. And what I found most incredible about that experience was how mathematical it was, because to create the music for a scene that you're watching, you have to literally count out the seconds that you need to fill a moment musically. And that's happening based on what the character's going through internally. So there would be a scene with you and you're in the car and you're slowly unraveling, and it's, you know, and then something happens, and then, oh, and the music has to match all that. And there was no way that I could have done that within like counting out. It didn't make any sense. I just had to watch it hundreds of times and count it and make sure that it fit to the millisecond of what was going on screen. And look, I mean, wow. It would be much easier in a proper studio with musicians, with the team that I could get that done with. But since we had the week deadline and it was just us creating that film, just you guys, just me, yep. It was just a gnarly experience. And I was so grateful that I got to do it, and that it was a success, and it just turned out so great. And it's a beautiful product overall.
Oh my God. It took it to the next level. Lucy, I'm
crazy,
eternally grateful that, first of all, that you could pull that off, and how talented you are in that time frame. That's almost an impossible task we asked her to do.
And we even got live strings. Yeah. I brought in a live violinist.
That's right.
Because the strings in the computer program I was using sounded like shit. And these are really bare parts. There's nothing going on. There's no dialogue. It's just this music. And so I was pulling favors, getting musicians in, and it made such a difference to have that real string in there.
Yeah.
You don't realize what goes into creating something. And
which is, I mean, that's part of the learning process. The first one's the hardest. You're going to do it again. But fact, if you didn't have your years of experience and training and talent as a musician, like, I mean, I knew it was a big ask, but I knew I could ask you and you would pull it off. Because no, honestly, I did. I didn't ask. I know other musicians. I didn't ask because Lucy, I knew you will work yourself to the bone, and you did. And that's why I'm so grateful, because I know that was a tight turnaround. But exactly the way you're speaking about it, of bringing the music in each moment and filling the emotion, is why you made that film so much better, because we realized that's what it was lacking. Any good film you watch, the music and the sound takes you on a ride. And if it's good, the audience doesn't really realize what's happening.
Exactly.
You're not manipulating, but that you're taking them on a ride with the music. And I mean, I can do so much with the performance, but then all the post and the sound and everything takes it to the next level. And it made a huge, like, night and day difference.
That's why I love the process of filmmaking, is because so many people are involved behind the scenes. So much time and effort goes into it. And what you're left with is this beautiful thing that looks effortless.
Yeah. And if it's good.
And that is just why film to me is magical. And I've wanted to devote my life to it since I could speak. And I know you feel the same. And Annabel, you're an artist just the same as we are. You get everything we're saying about the creative process.
Yeah.
You do it all the time as well.
There's so much more than meets the eye with the creative process. There is so much that goes into it, whether it's behind the scenes on America's Next Top Model, whether it's the overnight success, overnight sensation that you hear about that doesn't fucking exist. Maybe 1 in a billion. You know, you as you're composing for the film, you with going on a road trip and making a film and it didn't work, so you made a different film. And it's like, it's so many stages, so many elements, so many parts to starting and restarting and reconfiguring, and that go into this final product. And I guess, as we're always talking about, Lucy, it's the journey, isn't it? It's the journey. And that thing that you get at the end is a lovely gift, something that we're all proud of. But we talk about the journey. I think there's hours more we could talk about. I know. And that's my big takeaway from this is how much goes into, a 3-minute, 14-minute, 20-second thing. Blood, sweat, tears.
Song. Right.
And it's
so much work. to make it feel like we just effortlessly did it.
You know, Annabel, like 100 hours go into a 3-minute song.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine that. I don't.
Yeah, don't
don't ever.
Yeah, I won't touch it.
You do enough things, okay? You do enough things. Just
that's not my thing. But I can imagine how to make it seem the same, like effortlessly easy, which is why people have this idea in their mind of this overnight success,
right?
Where they don't see the
because
10 years
it seems
of work.
effortless.
They see this effortless breakout product or thing people have, and they're like, oh my God, but like, have they seen the hard work behind it?
That's right.
I mean, I'm saying 10 years, like, because that seems to be a timeline that I hear a lot.
Try 20.
Like, sure, 20. But the thing is, and this is an ageism also in the business is another thing I just don't care for.
Me
I'm just
neither.
over it. I'm like,
I don't either.
I respect that someone's worked for 20 years and
I like
is now ready.
I like that about you, and I like that about us. We don't care about that. I'm not interested in it. Are you good? Yes or no? I do. Is what you've made beautiful, meaningful, entertaining, doing something for me? Is it getting me off? Okay, great. I'm interested. Exactly. I don't give a fuck about anything else.
Exactly.
You know, and I don't think actually anyone really does, other than the people who are the money, who are the people at the top. So people need to keep doing what you're doing, because you're breaking that, and which is exactly what you were talking about. It needs to be broken from within, and it needs to be done and done and done and done until it is just the norm. So girls, keep doing what you're doing, keep fucking smashing shit. Y'all are doing it.
Yeah, let's end by just mentioning your film that's just come out on Saturday, where you're starring opposite Michael Beach. You're doing a lot of press for it right now. It's called Eminence. It's a terrifying thriller. And any closing thoughts on that? I know it was an incredible experience on a boat.
Incredible experience. Well, and even just talking about the timeline of projects, we shot this in December 2019. Right before COVID. Of course, it got delayed because of we couldn't do ADR, the sound stuff after a lot of the post-production got delayed because of the pandemic. But it was an incredible experience. It was one of those magical sets where everybody involved was there for the right reason and wanted this beautiful thing that was a low budget, but had a massive amount of talented people holding it as its baby, and it made a difference. I saw the full film myself for the first time on Saturday because I had seen bits and pieces. I had seen the scenes I was in, obviously, from that perspective. I had a nightmare that night, like major nightmare. I'm not even gonna I won't give away any spoilers, but it affected me like that, which I guess is great because that's
so good. That's hilarious. From your own film.
Yes. I did.
I'm not watching that. I'm scared of. Scared of. I can't even watch anything a bit scary. So I will. I will applaud you from the sidelines.
Watch the trailer.
Else who likes scary movies to see it.
Yes,
Lucy, you'll have to tell us.
Yes,
about it.
I will.
That's come out. Where can people see it?
So Apple TV, Amazon right now, and it's I think on Vudu. It's on a bunch of streamers. So if you just put in Eminence, it comes up. Michael Beach is, the
so Michael Beach is amazing. Michael Beach is an incredible actor. I've been a fan of his work since I was a teenager, and he handpicked you for this. So what was it like to work with him?
Incredible. I mean, the most generous, kind, giving actor who has worked forever and in a big way, but is the most humble, I say generous actor as in will give you everything to, because a scene is, only as good as who you're opposite. So we'll give you everything on your close up, on, everybody else's, and just brings you years of experience and knowledge and makes it look so easy. But I learned a lot. And he brought along a few of his friends who are also these amazing actors who have worked forever, and the caliber of talent working opposite them made me better. And I'm watching it 2 years later and seeing how far I've come as an actor, and we're always our you know, biggest critics, but watching it and seeing how far I've come the 2 years after that is a testament to what I learned on that set too,
Right.
because that was a big break for me. I was handpicked because they couldn't find somebody for my role, because she's a very kind of, I love Harper, my character, but a quirky, interesting astrophysics grad student who's a weirdo, you know, and I'm like, perfect, I could do that. But they couldn't find somebody for my role. So they actually went to the producers, has the same print agent as me at CESD. So I got a self-tape request through them, which normally comes through your theatrical agent. I wouldn't have gotten that shot otherwise, but I got to do a tape. And yeah, and Michael Beach told me, you know, he's like, that was the one, you were the best, you know, the best tape. It was like, it was no question. So that was really, I mean, I'm so grateful for that, but that was also really nice validation that like, finally, I'm not getting enough. We always are like, I want more auditions. We're not getting enough shots. But then when you do, and someone sees your capabilities and gives you that shot, it's
very validating.
Very validating. And then getting to be on the set where, because it was an indie and the writer, director is working with, you know, the producer on set, and they're rewriting and they're adding stuff, and they're constantly like throwing me more lines and different things, and like, can you do this? So just that on the fly, also being able to go on this journey with them that you don't always get on a big studio movie.
No,
it's locked in, the script is locked, you're done, you're doing what you're told. But here I had, and seeing it, I didn't even know what would make it in, but there were scenes that were just added on the set. Like that wasn't in the original script. So I was like,
wow, that's so cool.
Good. Yeah. And then some stuff is cut and you're like, damn, where'd that go? But it was a great experience.
Just like working on set with people makes you better in a scene, working opposite Annabel makes me better.
Oh, shut up.
I truly mean that.
You guys have such a dynamic that makes, and it makes people comfortable and real, and I love that. And I just feel like we've just been chatting, and now I'm like, oh, what's gonna be on here? What did I talk about? But it does feel like
everything.
You make you feel like at home. It's like when we did your photo shoot, and that was the first time I met you in person, Annabel, and I felt like I knew you, you know, and we just met, but you just have this natural, comfortable way that at least makes me feel like, oh,
good. I love that. Thank you. That's a very nice compliment. We're vibing, you guys. We are vibing here.
It is. It's humbling. It's an honor to be in the company of such powerful, incredible women as you two for me on here. And we're just really grateful that you joined us today, Kasia.
Thank you so much for giving us some of your precious time.
Yeah.
Thank you both so much. It was a pleasure.